You know what sucks? Call out culture. You know what I'm calling out? These grey hairs. You can really see them now. In all fairness, I don't actually mind the grey hairs. They lend a bit of a Judi Dench, Maggie Smith vibe. I would just like it if people would stop telling me that it's my imagination that I am now an old fart. Hi guys, it's Leanne and I am here today for my regularly scheduled tops and bottoms video, and again, for the second month running, I punch myself in the chin. I'm so passionate about it. I have a middling in-betweeny book that we are gonna have to talk about. But let's kick things off cheerily, shall we? Yes, we shall. My first top for the month of July, and I may have said July earlier in this video, or I may have said June. In fact, I may have said any number of months, because until I go to film this video, I never have any idea where we are in the calendar. Let's face it, if it is not the countdown to Halloween or the countdown to Christmas, I don't care. It's just all those months with the sunshine that I don't like. So, moving on. My first top is Good Omens by Neil Gaiman and Terry Pratchett. Wow, I said that in the wrong order from my head. Good Omens by Terry Pratchett and Neil Gaiman. Gonna fess up right now, I'm not a big Neil Gaiman fan. I'm just gonna get it out there. I don't particularly feel bad about it. I've tried several of his books, none of them have clicked with me. I generally don't like his writing. It's alright, you can hate on me in the comments, I don't mind. I like opinions and that's mine. So, this is obviously not my first read of Good Omens, and I've got to admit, previous reads of Good Omens have never been quite as good as this one, and I think it was my anticipation of the show coming out, and I think it was also just my nostalgia. I needed a comfort read this month, and by God I got it. This is probably the point where I have to tell you that if you don't feel like Aziraphale and Crowley are permanent boyfriends literally since the beginning of time, then I don't want to know you. In case you don't know anything about Good Omens and you've maybe been a little bit intrigued by the TV show but you're just not sure if it's your thing or not, I will sum it up for you. Good Omens is about Aziraphale, who is an angel, and Crowley, who is a fallen angel, or otherwise known as a demon. Crowley may very well have been the slinky little snake-like person who let Eve know that, you know, eating apples is fine. It's just an apple. After the fall of Eden, Aziraphale and Crowley are sent to Earth to recruit souls for their respective causes. The thing is, neither of them are particularly enthusiastic about it, because really all that they want to do is stay on Earth and play. They like humans. They like books, they like music, they like cars, they like little sushi restaurants. They like humanity and they don't really want anything to change, so they agree that they will just basically cancel out each other's good and bad deeds over the years. And then Crowley is told that he has to deliver the child of Satan into the world, not through his body. That would be weird, although I would have killed to see David Tennant in a childbirth scene. Just saying. One of the reasons that I love this book so much is that it has everything that Terry Pratchett does well in it. So there is a diverse cast of characters from all sorts of different places. There are puns, there are wordplays everywhere. There is deep irony just resonating off of the walls of this book. And obviously there's Aziraphale and Crowley just being boyfriends. And I've got to say, like, it's very much how it's played. It is a romp towards the end of the world with two men who love each other and love their life and don't really want the status quo to be rocked. And I really enjoyed it. I needed something to mitigate a lot of stress that has happened this month. Tune in for my studio vlog for more details on that. And I needed something that was just gonna make me melty and happy. And I got it. Also, in case you want to hear me talk at any more length about what I love about this, then you can check out the podcast that I do with my lovely bookish friend Kirsty. It is called Death by the Books. You can find it always linked below in the description, because we did an entire episode about this. An entire hour and a half maybe, just squealing about all the things that we loved about Good Omens and about the show. So yeah, if you want more Good Omens goodness, then that's where to go. Now I have a small confession to make with the next book. I don't do a lot of book projects behind your backs. Sounded really ominous. But I thought, I know a book that I've been wanting to read for a really, really, really long time, and it's a stonker. It's huge. It's like doorstop materials. And I was like, I know what I'll do. I will do a project. I will read this book off air. I will come back in little like vloggy segments and give my pithy remarks about it, and then at the end I'll be like, haha, you fools, I have been reading this book all month, 2 months, however long it was going to take me to get through it, and look at the results, yay! Then I started the book and realised I did not give a shit. It could only happen to me. Oh crap, don't look at my grey hairs. That book was so sadly the original Battle Royale. I don't know how this happened, guys. This should have been a surefire hit. This is about a group of classmates in Japan who are on the way to an excursion, to a field trip, and then they are drugged with gas on the bus. They all fall asleep. They wake up on an island in a very sparse classroom building with somebody telling them that they are there to play the game. In this world, the Japanese government runs a game for the military every month, wherein they put all of these classmates from a randomly picked class in a randomly picked school once a year on this island surrounded by patrol boats with weapons, one each, and they battle to the death. And the winner gets to have a state pension and go home. This one is a doorstop, guys. It's over 1,000 pages, and I had all sorts of worries going in. My first worry being that I wasn't going to be able to distinguish the characters. Didn't have to worry about that because they were really easy to understand who was who and who was dying, and also all of them had numbers after each other, and I actually had a great idea, you see, because there's a map in the front and there's times when each of the sectors on the map are like made a no-go zone, and then just a little bit into it there is actually a list, like a class register with all of the boys and girls names and all of their numbers. And I thought, I will make this super fun. I will print both of these things off, I will cross off the squares where we're not allowed to go anymore, and I will scratch off the kill list. I won't kill anybody that you know about. And I started it, and I don't care. This should have been high octane, high stakes, blood pumping, page turning, and instead I was just like, okay, so this first guy who we're following, I really don't like him, he annoys me, and the whole acts of wanton violence in the classroom to kind of convince these kids that this is a very serious situation that they're in, it's definitely life or death, didn't need to happen because I think they pretty much had got that idea from the whole game, island, certain death thing. I wasn't feeling it, and I'm so sad about it. I'm so sad about it. See, here's the thing, when I read horror, I'm not much of a slasher girl. Like, I like haunted houses, I like ominous, slow building dread, I like that horrible, is there something behind me? They're better, I have to check now. But I didn't care. I got down to, I think like 8 or 9 students had died, and I was just like, just kill them all off. It's fine. Just sink the island. I'm done. I'm done. I don't need this many pages. Just, I'm not going to throw it because it's really heavy and I'll probably break something, but this is my, just imagine, just clunk. That's it. I threw it. It's gone. I hated it. I'm so sad about it. I'm so sorry. Let's move on. Actually, do you know what? I don't really want to move on because the next one was going to make me cry. I finally did it, guys. I finally finished the last Lockwood book. This is The Empty Grave by Jonathan Stroud, and is it not just the worst thing when you find a series with characters that you absolutely love, that can literally do no wrong. There's not a single thing in this series that I would have changed, rewritten, nothing. And then you discover that it's only 5 books long. And granted, that might actually be the reason why this series is so good, because it is only 5 books long. There was a definite ending that we were going to get to. There was a conclusion that was going to happen. It was clearly in the author's mind right from the very first book. And in that way, it didn't drag on infinitely, and we didn't have hundreds and hundreds of instances of characters just doing things that were against their character in order to further the plot. And I feel like that's where a lot of sort of urban fantasy and horror-y series end up going. It really wasn't the case in this one. I just love this series so much. Like, overall, if I could give it stars, I would give it all the stars, because I now have to try and find something to fill a Lockwood shaped hole in my life. So before I get to the last bottom on my list, which was a DNF, I first want to quickly talk about a book that I feel like I have to acknowledge that I read and chat to you guys about, but that I don't get it. So that book is Hunger by Roxane Gay, which is Roxane Gay's memoir about being extremely overweight. She is talking about, I can't remember the exact terminology that they use in the States, but there's sort of like obese, morbidly obese, and then I think extra morbidly obese. She realised her life was on the line, and she realised that everybody around her was worried about her, and she didn't know why she couldn't stop her unhealthy patterns with eating. And then after a little while, we then discover that it's actually less a memoir about weight and more a memoir about getting over the extremely traumatic, extremely horrible experience that Roxane Gay had with rape. And I think that's why this one just weirdly doesn't sit very well with me, because I am all for a memoir which really fearlessly discusses weight and what it is to be a bigger person in this world. So just to put this in context, I am a UK size 24 to 26, depending on, I don't know, period bloating, whether I've eaten cake that day. And I'm quite comfortable with that. I like my body, I have no issues, but I do like the spin that's being put on body positivity recently, where it's been like, you know, everybody is a valid body. All of those things say to me that this should have been a book that I really enjoyed, but instead I was just like, and it's really difficult to say this, because this is a memoir that loads of people love. Like, loads of people absolutely adore this memoir. And I am by no means, of course, as I've said 1,000 times, I am by no means saying that Roxane Gay's experience with rape and food and hunger and diet culture, etc., are invalid in any way. But I am saying that I didn't enjoy her book where she discussed them, because I feel like it was really unbalanced. I feel like there was a lot of really amazing points that were being made, but they were being overshadowed by the bigger issue of food. I don't really think this is a memoir about food primarily. I think it's a memoir about clawing back your sense of self and owning your body and your experience. And that's great, but it's not what I was looking for. It's not what I signed up for. So if you've read this one, what do you think? Did you really love it? If you did really love it, please tell me why. If you found it empowering or like it validated your experience, that's amazing. I'd love to hear about it. But I felt like there was something missing. And finally, my last book and my final bottom for the month was one that I was really disappointed in, but I don't know exactly what I was expecting. It is Graveyard by Ed and Lorraine Warren, although this one is heavily ghostwritten by a person whose name I will put here because I don't remember. And So I read The Demonologist by Ed and Lorraine Warren either last year or the year before, and I loved it and I raved about it, and I told you guys so much about it. And for those of you who don't know who Ed and Lorraine Warren are, or why I might be interested in reading their books, Ed and Lorraine were literally ghost hunters. Ed was one of the only people, I think in the 70s they started, who was ordained by the Catholic Church to practice exorcisms outside of being a priest and the order. And so they would take cases and investigate and do experiments and gather data and things, and they were really, really well regarded in the psychic community. And the film The Conjuring, and then Conjuring 2 and Annabelle, don't watch Annabelle, don't watch those films. The Conjuring is amazing. So those movies were about the Warrens, but it was really bad. It was really bad. I don't know, I feel like this should have been more compelling than it was, and I didn't need like ghosts jumping out or anything like that, but it sort of takes this weird halfway tone between a historical retelling of this cemetery and then a little bit of Ed and Lorraine's cases smattered in amongst there. And I wanted more of their life, I wanted more of their opinions, I wanted more of their beliefs, and I didn't get that. So I DNF'd it, and it gone now, it been unhauled. So that's it guys, those are my tops and bottoms for insert the month here. I think that my tops were great finds, but it wasn't an amazing reading month. So I hope that you guys have enjoyed this. Please, as always, tell me if you have read any of the books that I've talked about here. Did you like any of the bottoms that I slated so badly? Can you console me a little bit about Battle Royale, because I'm still a little bit sore about it? And of course, if you're going to pick up Lockwood & Co, because I told you to, then please tell me about that in the comments also. I feel like I should count them. 1 stress hair, 2 stress hair, 3 stress hair.